Money is no longer the thing that drives me. It's experiences and opportunities, and this is a huge opportunity. I have been fortunate enough in the past 10 years to be a part of something that had not existed before. So I could just make as much money as possible and hold on to it forever. Or I could reinvest it into this opportunity to maximize the impact I can have.
Or you could ask your fans for a lot of money through Patreon to do the exact same thing you've been doing for years. Philip DeFranco is best known for bringing the news to YouTube through his show, The Philip DeFranco Show. Very clever stuff. But 7 months ago, Philip DeFranco made a Patreon campaign promising to make the next great news network, calling it DeFranco Elite. With great excitement, fans flocked to the Patreon page, couldn't wait to give this multi-millionaire their hard-earned cash. And as it stands, the Patreon currently has 13,746 pledges. But wait, red flag already. Unlike most other creators on Patreon who are happy to disclose to their fans how much they're making, not Philip DeFranco, no. He's decided to hide the amount that he's making on Patreon. Now that seems like a very shady thing to do.
I promise it's a warning, baby. I just want you to know.
Now quickly, I want you to watch this clip of Philip DeFranco describing another business venture he has going on a few days ago.
I'm going to sit down with Adi Seidman. He's the CEO of YouNow. He's launching this new thing called Rise. Also, there's a cryptocurrency involved called Props. It is incredibly important for you to know that I'm an advisor. Obviously, it's in my best interest and probably contractually in there that they want me to talk about it. I'm going to invest my own money in it. So if you decide to participate, which I'm not saying do, holy shit, just know that this is a thing that I would profit from. I want to be as 100% transparent as possible.
So clearly being transparent with his fans is important to Philip DeFranco. So why the fuck are you being so untransparent and hiding how much you're getting off your fans from Patreon?
This is so weird because this is the first time that I'm doing repeat videos on two of these people, so I'm gonna make this video today about Philip DeFranco and about Kavos. Apparently Kavos called Philip DeFranco out for being a little bit sketchy with his Patreon. So just to be completely transparent with you guys, I do already have somewhat of a bias coming into this. I am not the biggest fan of Kavos, and I do like Philip DeFranco. I'm also going to take an interview that Philip DeFranco did on the H3H3 Podcast and put that into my video a little bit later. I like Gila. I'm not so sure about Ethan right now. I used to be a big fan of H3, and now I don't know how I feel about him, so that's where I stand with everybody that's going to be featured in this video, so please do, use your discretion to decide whether or not you want to listen to this video or watch it. I am going to try my best, however, to just bring you guys the straight facts and tell you what I think about this entire situation. So this isn't going to necessarily be just about what these guys are saying, but it's also going to be about their body language and the way they say it. Keep in mind, body language will not tell you 100% if someone is lying or not, but it is a good indicator of such.
Your fans are the one giving you the money. They deserve to know how much you're making. But we all know why Philip actually did this, why he's hidden it, because it's a classic strategy, you see. Because if a fan decides, you know what, I want to pledge to Philip DeFranco, and he logs on and he sees that he's making $200,000 a month, that fan will be way less inclined to want to pledge. He'll think, oh, he's enough money, he's more than enough, he doesn't need my money. It's a very sneaky and shady tactic to just get more money from your fans. That's all it is. There's no other reason to be hiding this. The minimum pledge on his Patreon is a $5 tier. Now, that means minimum DeFranco's making $68,000 plus, but that is super, super low. It's been estimated that he's been making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month just from his Patreon.
I don't want to show all of Kavos' video because this video really isn't about him necessarily, but my first kind of reaction, and this is more commentary style, but I don't know why Kavos is so angry about this. I don't know, what is he trying to achieve by calling Philip DeFranco out on this? If anyone can tell me, why he's so fucking pissed off, just, let me know. Because, I've watched this entire Kavos video, and I think I get it, but I'm not entirely sure.
So let's all watch DeFranco's pitch to his Patreon and why we should give him all our money.
I am so nervous and excited about today. And that's because today I am so happy to announce for the first time in 4 years, I am an independent creator again. Now, I am so thankful to Group 9 Discovery Digital Networks for the experiences I had, the amazing people I was able to work with, but this is a necessary and I feel important change. I want to make the next great news network. A network that's run under my vision of it is okay to have and share opinions, but let's get the facts right first. Let's express what both sides are actually saying, give their points of view. Today, I'm launching DeFranco Elite, a fan funding initiative through Patreon. I want to do it independently to make sure no corporate interests can manipulate and control how the news is presented.
So Philip DeFranco is making the next news network. That's the pitch on his Patreon page. That's what he says he's going to do. He's asking for his fans' money. The multi-millionaire, the guy who claims to constantly be reinvesting his own money in his business,
or I could reinvest it into this opportunity to maximize the impact I can have,
is now asking his fans for more money. This whole situation first piqued my interest in August when I put out a tweet saying, after months and months, where is Phil DeFranco's new network, or is that money on his Patreon going to pocket? Then I got a reply which linked me to Philly D's tweet saying, the new DeFranco show is almost there, so close. See you soon. So it's been 4 months since that tweet, so let's see if a new DeFranco show lives up to all its promises. I mean, I assume it's out by now. It's been 4 months. Let's start by taking a look at what he promised 7 months ago. I want to take this successful show / mindset and build a news and entertainment network around it. I have now left my safe, full-time job of 4 years. Poor guy. I've purchased back the rights to my show and investing a ton of money into making new content and building out a new facility. But I can only take this to the next level with your support. So let's see if these 7 months of Patreon pledges, because remember, Patreon pledges are monthly. He's had 7 months worth of this money coming into his account. It's not a one-time transaction. Let's see if this has helped him take his show to the next fucking level. So this is what Philly D's show looked like before he made the Patreon and before he needed his fans' money. And this, are you ready? A drum roll, please. This is what it looks like after. New cushions and, oh, look at the lights. Brand spanking new lights. Phil, I'll be honest, I was very skeptical about this shit. I would be the first to admit I was not on board, but now, oh my god, you have taken these 7 months of Patreon pledges and you put it to such good use, man. This is some next level shit. So already, DeFranco fans who've pledged and invested into this Patreon for a brand new news network, they must be really satisfied with where their money's going. I mean, how can't they be? Look at the cushions, look at the lights.
Okay, I have to give this one to Kavos because his video actually did make me laugh, so props to him. I do now kind of have a better understanding of where he's coming from, and I get completely what he's talking about because I'm sure people do want to know where their money is going to.
Philly D is also one of the co-founders of Maker Studios that was bought by Disney for $500 million. And guess what? As a co-founder, you get a nice big slice of that 500 mil. So if you don't believe he's a millionaire or worth a lot of money, that in itself should tell you, alongside with running a very successful YouTube channel, Philip DeFranco also has multiple premium sponsors on his videos that he shouts out himself. Now, per video, these should be worth around 10 to 50 grand at least a single video. But according to Philip DeFranco, I'm being generous with them numbers.
With third-party sponsorships, I've seen people make $40,000 to $200,000 for a spot. And I don't mean a full campaign, I'm talking about a video.
Philip DeFranco has money shooting out of his ass, and 7 months ago had the balls to ask his fans for more money to start a news network when the only change we've seen in his show is nothing. It's exactly the fucking same.
Now that's just a little bit of context for you guys. Kavos seems to be really pissed off that Philip isn't disclosing how much money he's making off of his Patreon to you guys. The main 2 arguments I have seen though is 1, any patron should know where their money is going to, so Philip should actually make some noticeable changes to his studio if that is what he's claiming he's using the money on. And 2, if this is just a donation page, if he doesn't actually need the money, he should also disclose that. Now let's move over to the main reason why I did this video, and that is because of the interview that Philip DeFranco did on the H3H3 podcast.
A lot of the criticism that people levy against some people on Patreon, something that you do too,
Yes.
is that they hide the amount of money they get. They only show the number of Patreons they have. And so my question is, what is your
reasoning?
Or yeah, what is your reasoning for hiding the dollar amount?
Well, I would say one, we choose just to not show it. I think when you start a conversation with hide, it automatically seems like something nefarious
I guess
is happening.
Now you can see some stress lines. You can see how his neck kind of juts out because he's not entirely relaxed. He knew this question was coming. He knew that obviously Ethan was going to talk about this, and Ethan has actually been pretty criticized for this interview because people don't think that he asked the right questions or that he pushed hard enough.
Sure. No, I think it's 100% a valid question. It is a valid question, and I am glad that it's coming from someone that has not been salivating to try and destroy my career in one way or another for years.
Now, although he's uncomfortable, he's not backing down to Ethan whatsoever. He will not let himself be interrupted. He's really taking a dominant stance. He does a lot of blinking. He does a lot of hand movement. His body's staying still. He's kind of got a smirk on his face, too. I can kind of see that dimple popping up. Now, he does all of the great public speaking practices that they would teach you in, say, a high school speech class. The thing is, though, is that he is avoiding eye contact with Ethan, and he keeps glancing over at Hila every now and then. And that's because I believe in this particular instance, he views Ethan as the bad guy. I mean, he's the one doing most of the interviewing, putting Phil in this uncomfortable position, so he keeps looking over at Hila for validation in a way, like, please, Hila, show me that you think that I'm not a bad guy for doing this. I think he's kind of talked it over in his head, like, what am I going to say if he brings up this? What am I going to say if he brings up that? So I definitely see a lot of remembering on a more constructive side.
So I don't show it because we don't see it, once again, as donations. If it was a donation site, like when there was the legal fund, right? Of course, show it.
He's being very open in the way that he's talking about things, even though his body is kind of being more closed into himself. What I mean by that is you'll see that his hands never get so far away from his body. He never extends his arms out to any certain extent. He kind of keeps them closer to himself. He keeps his shoulders squared. He keeps his arms to himself, basically. This shows me that he's very, very scared of how the public's going to react to this. He's very concerned with how he is going to come off in this interview right now. I want to rewatch this again because I want to take a look at how he says, we don't see this as a donation page.
I don't show it because we don't see it, once again, as donations. If it was a donation site, like when...
His body is very out of sync when he says this. I almost want to slow down this clip and play it without sound and just show you guys what I mean by this. I know I'm harping on this one clip and you're probably getting tired of seeing it, but I honestly believe that he's being deceptive, and I'm going to show you guys why. So you see how his left arm keeps kind of moving and his right arm just kind of stays in place? His left arm is really having a hard time not moving. And when he brings up his right arm and extends it out, it's almost a violent body movement, like his entire body shakes, but it doesn't shake into the arm movement. A lot of the things he says, his head will move and his body will follow, so it's not really like an in-sync moment to where all of his body parts are moving at the same time. He's really thinking about what he's saying, and his body is trying to agree with it. That left arm, though, Phil, it gives it away.
I see what we're doing, once again, as very close to Rooster Teeth first. We're in like the infancy of it. More and more of the content is being made. Content, stuff, access, all that is, there's a one-to-one transaction. So in one way, it's the same reason why any other small business that has a subscription service like that wouldn't say, this is how much money we're making every individual month, that you're going to dissect and then start trying to make one-to-one comparisons. The second is, while I think that a lot of my audience understands business, like we go kind of, our demo is very much like people that are entrepreneurs and trying to move forward, whether they're in the infancy of that or they are. There are enough people that do not understand everything that goes into building a business, not just operating.
And you notice how he keeps touching his nose? He's touched his nose very quickly, like 2 times in this clip. This is just a quicker version of the brain trying to suppress deceitful words. But on the other hand, he could believe that Ethan isn't buying into any of his bullshit. It's kind of like a break in the brain that says either I'm lying or nobody believes me.
But growing, that I think it would be too damaging. People not taking into account that all of that money is obviously taxable. All of that money, I have to pay salaries. On top of that, benefits. I have to not only have insurance on all our gear, but if I have I have a plan in case someone doesn't like some shit I said about them and they're going to try and sue me into silence.
He's a smart guy. He makes sense. But there's something about this that says he's being deceitful. And honestly, I'm just a little bit disappointed in Phil because I really, really like his content. So it's kind of one of those like, oh, fuck. One of my favorite YouTubers is kind of lying right now.
Really?
Like, yeah, well, I have to.
Is there insurance for that? There's
Yeah,
like,
I had a conversation today. They're like, you're covered, you're covered on everything, and then in addition, we have an umbrella package.
Right.
Right.
We can't get that because
right.
we've been sued before.
Really?
We can't get umbrella packages.
Oh, that was what we were trying to get?
There's like a liability
Yes.
against lawsuits for
Right.
like
We were-
defamation or copyright.
yeah.
We can't get it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's all that. Then there's rent, utilities. There's probably stuff that I'm not even thinking of right now. And the only thing that I feel then comfortable in sharing, and I think it's the reason why it's so frustrating to me, is like I'm paying myself less money than I made last year. I'm paying myself 7 figures less than what I could have signed a deal for if I just wanted to make money.
His body does sing with him on some of the words that he's saying, but not all of them. So I feel like this is kind of a moment of definite betrayal, and he's definitely mixing some truth with some lies. Do I think he's paying himself less than he got last year? Yes. Do I think it's 7 figures less? Not exactly.
And then people try and muddy the water and they'll say, like, Philip DeFranco, he's worth $20 million. And then in the same thing, they'll say, like, $8 million. And, like, that's a fucking range. Both of those are wrong, by the way.
Oh, shit, Kavos. He's coming for you, honey.
Yeah.
And then they'll reference Philip DeFranco. He was a founder of Maker Studios. That dude's fucking loaded. What about the part that it's public information? If you just do a fucking little bit of research, I got a fucking nothing. I got nothing from that sale.
Yeah, I think he's telling the truth on this one. His body sings with him.
Right? And that's
a big difference.
By
That's
the
a
way,
whole
you
legal
must
matter.
feel really bad about that.
No. I think it feeds into...
I'm kidding. About the makers.
No,
Yeah.
I was... But
Really?
when I say things like, for me, it's not about the money. Like, for me, making money, that it's... Like, there are so many different avenues. I could cut from why am I growing a 16-person staff?
Okay, this is where I think he's starting to really defend himself, but he's telling the truth, at least the way he believes things to be. He's in portrayal big time, his arms are moving forward, his entire body is singing with him. The only thing that I think he kind of lied about so far is just the not being a donation page. Like, come on, Phil, you know your Patreon is a donation page. Just tell the people where their money is going to, please.
When I had 6, when I could just cut down to 2 and just do the Philip DeFranco show, cut everything else out, and make more money. It just doesn't make sense.
I'm gonna skip ahead just a little bit because this video is starting to get really, really long.
They're like, the most he gets, or the most he's done with his Patreon is he changed his pillows, right? And then they say, and that's what he gets for $250,000 a month on Patreon, which I will say is an absurd and ridiculous number. Now, it's idiotic if they actually think I make that, or it's genius because they're throwing out such a bullshit number that they're like, well, then what is it? And then I still stand by the same reasons of why we don't choose to share that number, especially with, I mean, once again, we were talking about it. I do plan to move it off because I understand why there is a connotation with Patreon and donations, and that's in no way what we see ourselves as, and in no way what we're doing. It's fan funding in the sense of selling a shirt, giving a product, giving videos, etc.
Well, he just completely BS'd that answer right there. I don't know, guys. I kind of want to be done with this video just because I think I know where I stand in thinking that I do believe that Philip DeFranco is kind of making some sketchy moves, and I don't agree with that. So here's where I'm going to end the video today. I hope you guys understand my view on things. I'm not attacking Philip DeFranco. I'm still going to be subscribed to him, although I'm not going to be using any of my money to support him financially on Patreon. I do wish the best for him. I think he's a smart businessman. I don't think he's only in it for the money. I do think he enjoys what he does, and I appreciate what he does, and I love his news segment. This is just gonna be like a PSA. Just be careful how you spend your money and who you spend it on. Make sure that nobody's getting into some weird practices. Again, thank you guys for your continued support on all of my videos. My Zoella video just hit 1 million views. I do think that's one of the shittiest videos I've ever made, but you guys seem to like it. A lot of the people in the comments, however, don't, but it's okay, you know, that's YouTube, that's how things go. I do plan on making more live streams, trying to do more face cam type stuff. I just feel a lot safer behind the camera than in front of it. And if you guys are interested in hearing any of my rants about music or video games or anything else, just let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to do a Q&A about just about anything. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you on the next one.